Hello YouTube and welcome back to the Indie Evolution channel. We're going to be doing part 2 of our ongoing introduction to the game The Age of Decadence. We started last time by creating a character, a lore master, picking some skills, very robust character creation. Plenty to choose from, plenty of ways to customize your character. We started out on kind of our first quest when Master Feng, the Master Lore Master in this town, Master Lore Master, try saying that 3 times fast, sent us to an inn to check on some prospective business. We managed to acquire a map and something else he's written off as a worthless bauble. And then we spoke with a prospector, but we did not have the skills to talk him out of his wares. Lore Master Feng seems to be a bit of a grifter as well. He's kind of trying to get paid on these artifacts whether they're of any value or not. He's setting a system that ensures that's the case by enticing people with the potential wealth of their items. But now we have this map. It's marked with a special seal. And let's see if we can find out more information as we'll pick up with Master Feng's text here. The map is ordinary. No X marks the spot there. The seal is interesting and well preserved, but it's worth no more than 100 Imperials. Maybe Antidas will buy it. Go see him when you have a chance. And he gives us the map. Buy it? What about the trader Gracious? Almost forgot. He's dead. So you can keep the map. Apparently he wasn't welcome in this town, and with the Assassin's Guild almost out of work. I'm surprised he made it as far as the inn, Feng chuckles. Is there anything else you want me to do, Master? Is our response. This is kind of interesting. If you remember in the last part, when Feng came to town, there was also another lore master in the town who also mysteriously disappeared. And now we've got this artifact from a customer, and now he has mysteriously disappeared. I hate to make a reference to another game, but I seem to remember a precious ring in the game Arcanum where all the owners of these artifacts came up missing. P.F. Schuyler and Sons or some other such. Anyway, not important. Not important. Is there anything else you want me to do, Master? But the important part is that now this is their bodies kind of stacking up around this guy. I don't know if that's relevant or not. Is there anything else you want me to do, Master? Feng gives you an appraising look. As a matter of fact, you see, Gaius, being a lore master isn't just about dealing with rarities. Knowing how to deal with people is equally important. I believe I've neglected this part of your education, but fortunately it should be easy to fix. Lord Antidas has invited another Lord Master to Tehran. Needless to say, I don't share his opinion that 2 heads are better than 1. And I'll be very grateful if you can find a way to get rid of the new Lore Master. You'll secure your future and learn a valuable lesson at the same time. His name is Cassius. He's probably at the inn already, so don't waste any time. Given the tone of this guy, I think he's asking me to kill this other guy, but I'm going to avoid that question for now. Secure my future? You don't think the new lore master would need your services and look after you the way I do you? Don't be foolish. So it seems like the gist of it is that 2 lore masters is bad for him, and what's bad for him is going to be bad for me, because there may not be need for an apprentice if there are 2 masters. Are you asking me to kill him? Do I detect some qualms? You have so much to learn, Gaius. When you have a thorn in your side, do you not remove it? Ah, perhaps you think that a man isn't a thorn. That man's life, unlike that of an insect, has some value. It doesn't. Truly, I should be charging you for these lessons. Take this dagger, Gaius, and go. Prove that my faith in you isn't misplaced. And we will leave. Okay. So I was kind of worried after the initial starting to that quest that there was no real open-endedness to the game, but apparently there is, because now we're in a free roaming area. I don't like the way that pops out and obscures my character, but that's okay. And this is the guy's sign. It just says, "Don't sell priceless artifacts for nothing. Come see Feng first." So this guy, my impression of the lore master was kind of more of this wise old sage, you know, that knows everything. I have no idea where I'm going, by the way. And interesting enough, you can't scroll over and see signs, so you really do have to find your way in this game. But my impression of the lore master was kind of a wise old sage who, you know, is respected by the community. This lore master Feng has turned out to be more of kind of a two-bit con man, really a peddler of cheap junk. He's really kind of a Fred G. Sanford of the game world here. He's more of a junk dealer and a scam artist than anything else. Just while we got a chance here, before we go on with the story, I want to go over the UI a little bit. I have absolutely no experience with this UI, so we're just going to go through the same way you would in your first playthrough. And here's our character screen as we go over and get our tooltip. And we can click. This is all too familiar to us. I'm not sure why our sneak is in red, but we do see that we have earned 7 skill points. Interestingly enough, it looks like our stats are actually locked. I don't know if we'll have a chance to improve those. And our new thing is opened up for traits and ranks. I don't know if this trait system provides bonuses similar to maybe a Fallout where you have perks, or if this is something entirely different. We'll keep our eyes on that. The faction reputations. If you watched my character creation video, we did go over each faction and its description. It seems as though, to me, the Commercium will be very important to us, as well as the House Daraton, which is where we are. We're in their territory. And we seem to have a bit of reputation with both of those. Again, I'm not sure what the scale or scope is of this. Is 4 high and 2 is low? Or none of these really significant at all? General reputation, we have body count, combat, and these weren't in the initial screen, so I will go over these. Body count tells everyone how many people that crossed your path ended up dead, and shows that you aren't squeamish when it comes to killing. I've actually seen videos of this where you can use the body count reputation to intimidate people, so I'm sure these will be used in conversation as well. Your combat reputation, that's pretty self-explanatory, I believe, but it's how many times you've gone up against impossible odds and lived to tell the tale. Loyalty, measure of how loyal you are. Peacemaker, prestige, and word of honor, so those seem pretty self-explanatory. As far as skills go, Feng did mention to us that, and obviously we can see that persuasiveness is going to be something that's of value to us. And I'm not sure I want to go with streetwise just yet. Lore, I'm going to keep pumping a few points into lore every time I get a chance. And it also seems like trading is an important part of the lore master stock and trade, but I didn't take it initially. And I don't want to let other skills fall behind. I don't want my lockpick, you know, I don't want other things to fall behind while I get into trading. And I definitely want to keep up my lockpick skill, because that to me seems like it's going to be useful when we're going hunting for artifacts, if that even ends up being part of our character. And alchemy is just something of personal interest to me. I want to make sure that those remain significant. And I know I'm going extremely light on combat skills. That might come back to haunt me to the point where I might have to restart this Let's Play. But we will find out. Next up is our inventory screen, and we can see the items we possess here. We have a groove sphere, Sell price is 75, so that's actually decently valuable. We have Gracious's map. And just some other items. We have a conjure, which looks to be a small weapon similar to a dagger. We can see that it uses 4 action points to use, 6 to 8 damage. I'm not sure what passive weapon effect is. And we can go down even farther, and the to-hit chance bonus is 20%. And we can see we also have a Cephet made of bronze. A little lighter on damage, but faster. Like I said, again, not sure about the actual stats of the weapons, but we will go ahead and equip our dagger here. And as we go into alchemy, we can see our alchemical ingredients. And general crafting. So this game, for an indie game, has included a lot of elements. I will tell you that I'm taking a look. I have a pretty robust system here. Brand new, just built it this year. You know, my graphics card when I'm recording, you know, even on like games like BioShock Infinite, the new Tomb Raider, my frame rate rarely dips low. My frame rate actually playing this game is stuck around 24, 25. Not sure if that really even means anything, but this is just a basic inventory screen. It seems serviceable. It seems usable. This button will start in combat. Obviously, we don't want that. The journal screen. This is going to keep track of our quests. Looks like it's going to keep track of various other information. Techniques. This is kind of interesting. I'm actually... So these are the different kind of... I don't know if these are subsets of skills that we have. It appears that they're subsets of skills that we have. From alchemy, we know how to do certain things. From our combat skills, we know how to do certain things. It's the way it's starting to look as I get more into the game. I could probably do a whole video just explaining... I actually may do a whole video just going through and explaining some of the inner workings of the game once I'm familiar with them. This just says not in the demo, that's not available. The factions aren't available in the demo, locations, characters, so much of this is blocked out in the demo version. Okay, so it looks like there's a lot more to this that we're not going to get a chance to see in the pre-release version of the game. And we can scroll in a little bit here. Take a look at this sign. You see Cato's Tavern, a drinking establishment popular with people who call the wrong part of town their home. Okay, and I just want to actually go back, and this will actually show us a map of the area, and we can see if we're headed to the inn, we're headed the wrong direction. Would have been smarter to look at this at the beginning. I apologize, guys. Okay, but there is a, as you can see, there is a fast travel via the map, and we'll see if we can strike up some conversations with some... And to rotate the map, it looks like we're going to be using the W, A, S, and D controls. So we'll move our character with the mouse, and E and Q are going to rotate the map. W, A, S, and D are going to move it around for us. And let's see who this gentleman is here. And he is a trader. I'm not sure what's going on with the graphics in the little side window here, but they are getting kind of marred. I'm not sure if that's an issue with my graphic settings, but I will try to look at that before the next video. Trader. You look like you're in the market for some fine clothing and armor. Am I right? Step right up and take a look. And our options are to browse his wares, to steal from him, or to use the disguise skill, which is one that I was kind of interested in earlier, and streetwise. And this is basically, we're going to pretend to be a some kind of official, and probably try to con the guy out of his money. We don't have the skill to be able to do that, so all we can really do is trade with him honestly. And we take a look at some of our selection, various clothing items, the Lore Master's garment, which we already have, and just basic armor and weapons. Nothing that we're interested in right now. And we'll see. Okay, well, his companion here isn't available for conversation, and neither are these two, so we will continue on our quest. The inn is full of guests. After spending weeks and sometimes months on the road, they have an unhealthy appetite for cheap wine, stove-cooked meals, and women willing to share their beds with a few coins. I think we went over that before. Okay. And it looks like we do have a few people in here that we can speak with. We'll start with the guy closest to us. And Cassius, this is the man we're looking for. 42-year-old Lore Master Cassius, contemptuously called Young Cassius by his gray-haired colleagues, has never understood the appeal of digging through dirt and ruins like a rat. Instead, he preferred to spend his time among neatly preserved scrolls, studying the work of many prominent lore masters of the antiquity and hundreds of accompanying commentaries he considered indispensable. Master Cassius was working on his second tractate, analyzing manifestations of the divine will in year 4052, when Antidas emissaries invited him to Tehran. Cassius arrived early and was getting tired of waiting when you showed up and graced him with your attention. Is there something you want? And we have a couple choices here. Lord Antidas sent me to escort you. Follow me. In which case we would lure him to an abandoned house. Lord Antidas has sent me to escort you. Follow me. We would take him to Lord Antidas. Or, I'm sorry to bother you, and leave. Well, that's a pretty big choice here. I mean, this is a tough one, because if we lure him to the abandoned house, we're going to attempt to kill him, which is what Master Feng desires for us to do. But because Master Feng seems like an unscrupulous character, and this would be the third body that would have popped up around Master Feng in his business dealings, I'm actually going to try to play it honest with Cassius and see if maybe we can get into a better situation. This seems more like the kind of lore master I wanted to be when I started this game. Feng seems more like kind of a con man than my version of a lore master. And getting to know Lord Antidas might not be a bad idea either. So we're going to escort him in all earnest and take him to his destination. And we've run into a man named Deller. What do you want? I'd like to introduce you to Master Cassius, who is a personal guest of Lord Antidas. Master Feng asked me to kill him, but as soon as I learned that Lord Antidas was involved, I immediately thought, your loyalty is an inspiration to us all, Gaius. You gain a new insight which can be used to increase your skills. My loyalty, however, has decreased. I don't really understand why my loyalty would decrease here. I guess because I've turned on Master Feng, but what about my loyalty to Lord Antidas as a... Well, anyway, I do understand why the loyalty decreased. Can I speak with Lord Antidas? Or maybe my decision has been viewed as one of self-interest, I'm not sure. Of course, after you prove your value. What do I need to do? Wait here while I escort Master Cassius inside. And we will wait. I can use your help. In exchange, I'll let you in and even put in a good word for you. Don't you have your own people? Good question. You see, my people are valuable, while you, to put it bluntly, are not. Don't worry, I'm a good judge of talents. And since I don't see any, your task will be relatively simple. House Aurelian is digging into some old ruins not far from Tehran. Apparently it was an old mining facility and some machines are still intact. They've even sent Sorab, which is bad news. He's an expert on old machines. If it has gears, he can fix it. We can't have that. The last thing we need is the Aurelian setting up shop in our own backyard. So, what do you want me to do? Whatever it takes to stop them. Killing always works, but if that's too plebeian for your sophisticated taste, try something else. We're gonna choose what else can you tell me. Not much. Ruins are everywhere. But we don't have enough money and people to look under every stone. A few weeks ago, House Aurelian set up a camp there and started digging. They may have found something there. Something we don't know about. Or they have nothing and are just waiting for us to give them an excuse to attack Tehran. Where do they get supplies? Good question. They are too far from Mataran to be supplied regularly. And they aren't used to living off the land. Ask around, see what you find out. And we'll ask for some men, which I'm sure he won't give us. Deller shakes his head. First, we don't know for sure that we're dealing with. I need all the men in case this situation isn't what it seems. Secondly, I'd like to see what you're capable of. You don't have a problem with that, do you? And I guess we'll acquiesce. Is there anything else we can help you with? Well, if you didn't like the first problem, you're definitely not going to like the second one. A gang of raiders captured one of our nobles. Someone should go there and find out what the raiders want. Didn't they tell you what they want? It's a funny story, actually. A few days ago, a raider walked in and started making demands, claiming that his gang captured a lord. We didn't take the bastard seriously and used him for target practice. Then it turned out that some distant relative of Lord Antidas is really missing. But it was too late. Now my men aren't very eager to go there and pay the blood debt. And you're sending me there? It's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Very generous of you. Alright, I'll give it a shot. Okay, so we can look over here and see that we've received 7 skill points. And we're headed toward the Dartan compound, a well-fortified and guarded seat of power for the House Dartan. So I guess what we'll do is we'll take a look at our map screen. And we'll probably be headed out of town, I suppose. Interesting thing about your map screen is it doesn't... and this might be because it's a beta version of the game, but it does not tell you where you are. There's no "you are here" point on the map. So, and I'm so accustomed to this style of game, having a right-click, hold right-click, and move the mouse to scroll around, that it's a little uncomfortable for me not to be able to do that. But these aren't huge. And they do have a button that will go back and center the map for you. So for now, I guess we'll go back into our character screen. It looks like we're racking up skill points fairly quickly. Obviously, our high intelligence is helping with that. your intelligence does affect skill points earned through quest completion and conversation. Does not aid you in skill points earned from experience based on combat. So that's a little thing that makes this game different from some of the others that you might be familiar with. And again, we're going to keep increasing our lore. We're going to keep a little lighter on alchemy this time because I do want to be able to give a boost to some of our combat skills. I'm thinking that dagger. Okay. Well, if I increase dagger, sword seems to kind of come with dagger. But I don't want to spend too many points there because I'm not a combat-oriented character. I might actually be wasting those. And for this upgrade, I think we'll just increase our persuasion, and then we'll kind of stick with our strong suit, which is lore. Hopefully that ends up having some great significance to our character. I'm sure it will, because everything, I think, depending on the background you pick, determines the quests that you initially go on. And we'll go over and talk to Thessalos. What are you... Wait, you're Feng's apprentice, are you not? Come in, I want to show you something. I'm Thessalos, a humble servant of Lord Antidas. He adds rather arrogantly. I'm sure you've heard of me. Okay, and we will go and follow him. Thessalos. What do you think? Asked Thessalos, gesturing towards an artifact sitting atop 3 pedestals in the middle of the hall. I had them shipped from Mataron. Once they decorated a house of a powerful magi. Now they decorate mine, he says haughtily. I can already feel the connection. We'll examine the artifacts. And we did have a lore success check, so we'll find out what that does for us. You see a strange bronze helmet covered with a thick green corrosion. It looks like the helmet favored by the Murmillo, but lacks any decorations. Strangely, there are some old glass fragments in the visor behind the eye gratings. Whatever it was used for, it wasn't combat. Another artifact is a glove with a strange protrusion. Like the helmet, the protrusions have rusted through and crumbled off in places. But it appears that they used to hold something. You recall a drawing of a magus in one of the manuscripts. The gloved hand of the magus was outstretched into a swirling mist. The glove was glowing and had what looked like power tubes filled with the divine breath of the gods, loaded in metal protrusions. The last item is an antique orrery, the intricate device that shows the positions and orbits of the celestial bodies. You aren't trained in the art of stargazing, but you know enough to understand that the markings on the orrery. Enough to understand the markings on the orrery. You move the planets according to the markings until they align in a straight line. If you'd like us to evaluate your artifacts properly, Thessalos interrupts. There is no need for that, my good man. Their exact nature isn't as important as their other value. After all, they are our only connection to the past, and that, my friend, is what makes them so desirable for cultured men like myself. Why, if not for our passion, these artifacts would have remained buried in the bowels of the earth, lost for mankind. Okay, so apparently he's just an arrogant, kind of wealthy guy who likes to show off what he has. And we will get on with our quest here. And what I'm doing right now, I'm just trying to make it to the end of town. And I believe I'm headed the wrong way. Interestingly enough, there's not a lot of guidance. There's not a lot of guidance on where we should go. Find a way to get inside and see what the Aurelians are up to. Deller mentioned that Lore Master Sorhab was heading there, so maybe you can get yourself a nice robe and see where it gets you. Okay. And then there's the Raiders camp. The thing I don't understand is how am I supposed to know where these places are? Because as I look at my map, it really appears to be just a map of the city. So we're gonna fast travel here to the gate. And we'll see if we can maybe find the bandits first. Uh-oh. Have another encounter here. You see a group of road-weary travelers trying to enter Tehran. Their clothes are ragged and they have the look of desperation about them. You have to pay a levy to enter, explains the guard, patiently looking at one of the women with interest. I'm not going to do a woman's voice, so... We don't have any money, pleads one of the refugees. Our village was attacked. The raiders took everything. These are hard times, agrees the guard lazily. But we aren't running a charity here. If you want the protection of House Daratan, you have to pay. If you can't pay, he looks at the woman again. Please, show mercy, begs the man. We have nowhere else to go. Mercy, explodes the guard. Do you have any idea how much it costs to maintain these walls? How many men-at-arms it takes to keep the town safe? Everything costs money. And if you don't have any, you are nothing but a dead fucking weight. With these words, he pushes the man back and turns around, indicating that the conversation is over. And we're going to ask what's going on. Refugees, fucking freeloaders. They think they're entitled to what we've built here. Like we need more beggars and thieves, the guard spits. So you will let them die and starve outside the walls? Me? What am I? A lord of the fucking gate? I was told to collect a levy from everyone who enters Tehran. If I start making exceptions, I'll end up outside the walls myself in no time. And even if I did, then what? They come all the time. There are a lot of people out there trying to make it in on their own. They think that all they need is a patch of land to call their own. Well, a patch of land ain't worth shit without rough men standing ready to crack a few skulls. He slaps himself on the chest. So those who survive end up here. If we start letting everyone in, well, either have to feed them, or we'll have a riot on our hands. That's just how it is. You tolerate thieves running a guild, but you can't let these people in? Thieves. They pay everyone. Plus they bring cheap goods from Moradon and Gnezzer. If you ask me, they keep this town running. How much do they have to pay? 30 Imperials per head. There are 5 of them, so that's 150 Imperials. And that's almost all of my gold, so I'm going to talk to the refugees. Please help us, pleads the older man, leading the group. I'll pay you back, I promise. I'm a smith, look. He shows you his rough, calloused hands. Help me and I'll repay your kindness tenfold. Alright. Well, we can do this as a for-profit venture, it looks like. I'm going to depend on the old in-game karma. I'm going to go ahead and pay the interest fee without holding him equitable. for a huge sum repayment. Hate to make an agreement with someone under duress and hold their feet to the fire. So I'm going to tell them not to worry about it, and I'm going to pay what little gold I have to get them into the city. I'm in your debt, stranger, but I swear that it will be repaid. My name is Amolis. Look for me at the market square. And with that, we will leave. And we'll head off on our quest here. And apparently we'll be walking off into the end of the world. I'm not sure. Okay. Alright, well apparently this is... I'm not sure. Apparently that's the end of the world, I guess. That was kind of odd that it just kind of ends abruptly the way it does. Oh, and we've met the kebab seller. You see a dark-skinned man cooking kebabs over hot coals. Come, he says, with a strange accent. Good food, very cheap. Special recipe. Make you strong like ox. Well, let's take a look at this. Do you know anyone who's been buying supplies on a regular basis lately? Enough to feed a whole camp of soldiers? So maybe this will lead us to the bandits here. I mind my own business, he says apologetically. Okay, so Mr. Minds his own business isn't going to be any help. Okay. Well, we've gotten our first kind of, outside of the guided quest, our first kind of quest where we can freely roam. But it did leave me a bit stumped. This is something you might run into on your first playthrough as well. How to actually go about completing these quests. And that's part of the learning experience. It's part of the fun of playing an RPG type of game. And we'll get more into that in the next episode here in part 3. So I hope you guys so far are enjoying this. I do actually in part 3 what I think we're going to end up doing is going back to Feng's and confronting him about some of his treachery. So I will drop off right here. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks, and I appreciate you watching.